Welcome to Mountain Cooking with Missy. Today I'm going to show y'all how to make this honey bun cake with a buttermilk glaze. It's actually going to use some real honey in this, and it's super simple, made with a yellow cake mix. So stick around, guys. I'm going to show y'all how to make it. Hey guys, so I'm going to show y'all how to make this delicious, simple honey bun cake. And so be ready, jot this down. I'm going to tell you what's in it ahead of time. That way you can be prepared, but you can always pause videos and restart them and get the ingredients and the measurements. So like I said, this is made with a yellow cake mix, and you're going to need a box of that. You're going to need 4 eggs, 1 cup of sour cream, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, and 1/2 cup of water. And that's going to be for the cake part. And so for the middle, you're going to have like a cinnamon filling in the middle. So for that, you're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of melted butter, and 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon according to your liking. I usually use a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of cinnamon, because I like a lot of cinnamon in it. And then for the icing part, you're going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar, a 1/4 cup of buttermilk, because this has a buttermilk glaze. It's so good. A teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter for the glaze. And you're going to need a little bit of honey to go on the cake as well, because this is a honey bun cake. And what's a honey bun cake without a little bit of real honey? So I'm going to drizzle some honey on it right when it comes out of the oven, and that way it can seep down in there, and then I'll put the glaze right on. So that's what you're going to need for this recipe. It's pretty simple. So let's get started. All right, now I want to show you how to do the cake. I've already got the cake mix in here and 2 of my eggs. I want to add my other 2 eggs in here. And so the cake mix, the cake part, you're going to use a 9x13 pan. Now the cake part is just a cake mix, the 4 eggs, your vegetable oil, which is 3/4 cup, and your 1/2 cup of water, and your cup of sour cream. Let me get my spoon. If you don't have sour cream, you can use a cup of buttermilk. But I'm going to use sour cream because I think the sour cream makes this cake much better. It just seems to just help it, I don't know, just gives it a good taste. It's like a, kind of almost like most coffee cakes, most coffee cake recipes call for sour cream. So this is kind of on the lines of like a traditional coffee cake. So I'm just going to stir mine with my whisk until it's just combined and smooth. And it won't take it long. You don't want to overmix. So let me get it finished here. All right, y'all, so I got the cake mixed up and I set it aside just for a second. So I want to make the cinnamon, like the cinnamon filling that's going to go in between inside the cake. And you're going to need 1/2 stick of butter. It can be salted or unsalted, it really won't matter. And you're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar, and you're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can use more if you want. Anytime you're using any kind of measurement of cinnamon for any recipe, make sure it's heaping. Unless otherwise, I always use a heaping of anything. So if it says 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, make sure it's a heaping, okay? So I'm going to use, I like extra cinnamon, so I'm going to use about 1 teaspoon. And I'm going to stir that together. smells so good. Make sure you get it all blended. All right, that's good. So you're going to take your cake pan, and I'm using one of these aluminum pans. You need about a 9x13, or one of these would be good enough. And you're going to pour half of your cake batter in this pan. Just half. Spread it out. Maybe a little more. All right. Now you're going to drop your cinnamon and your brown sugar right in here, right on top. This would be a perfect cake for Thanksgiving, any of your gatherings for the holidays, you know, like any kind of party, or, you know, something that's good. And it's fall, you know, it's got the flavors of fall in it, being cinnamon. So you want to swirl that in. Make sure you swirl it good. See, like that right there? Put the rest of the cake on, the cake batter. Now you're going to bake this, probably, don't over bake it, but you're going to have to probably bake it for about 25-30 minutes until it's done. Toothpick comes out clean from in the middle. Settle your pan a little bit. All right, this is when you bake it. Bake it till it's done, about 25-30 minutes. And then we're going to do the icing that's going to go on top right when it comes out. All right, so now while the cake is baking, I'm going to make the glaze for the cake. This is a really good glaze. It's a buttermilk glaze. And I use this glaze on donuts. We've made homemade donuts before. We've even fried canned biscuits before, made donuts. And this is a wonderful glaze. You would think buttermilk wouldn't be too good, but it actually is. So I prefer the buttermilk glaze. If you don't like the buttermilk taste, you can just use milk for this, okay? So it's just, but trust me, it's really good. And it just gives it the extra tang. But this is more like an icing. So this is 2 cups of powdered sugar that I got in my bowl. I'm gonna put in my buttermilk, which is a 1/4 cup. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You can use salted or unsalted. The salted actually gives it extra good taste. It's no big deal if you use salted. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon of vanilla. Another good extract you could use is some maple. Would be good on it. And so I'm just gonna stir this together until it's smooth. So keep in mind, you're gonna be pouring this on the cake once it's hot. And it will spread right over the cake because the cake's gonna be hot. It's so good. And yes, this does make a really good glaze for donuts. It's a good glaze for if you made like apple fritters. See that? And it's real smooth. Let me give it a taste. Woo. Yeah, boy, that's good. Let me put just a little bit, few more drops of my buttermilk in there. Oh, it's so good. Will be really good with some maple. All right, so that's what you want, about like that right there, because it will melt once you put it on the cake. That's the good consistency that you want. So just set it aside. When the cake comes out, we're gonna drizzle some honey on the cake while it's hot. I'm gonna poke some holes in it with a fork, pour a little bit of this honey on it, then put the glaze on it because it's gonna be so good. All right, now the house is smelling really good. And I know my youngin' down the hall is smelling it. And I heard her laughing. Yeah, this kind of cake just makes your house smell so good and smells like fall in here. So it is still hot, and look at that. And you can see the swirls of cinnamon in it. Now, I always say it's not a honey bun cake unless you put real honey in it. And while it's hot, I'm going to poke some holes in it, especially along the edges, and I'm going to pour some real honey on it. So I'm going to give it a few good pokes with the fork and make sure there's plenty so the honey can seep down in it. Now my honey is room temperature. I didn't heat it or nothing. I'm just going to pour it right on. Now I'm using, y'all know I love the Willie Brooks Farms honey out of Blowing Rock, North Carolina. I will be sharing their link if you want to check out their honey. Perfect for baking season. I'm using their Mountain Wildflower honey on this. If I can get it open. Well, hold on just a second. I got it open. It wasn't easy, but I did. So I'm using their Mountain Wildflower honey. And their honey is so good. It's organic. And their sourwood honey is really good. I like all kinds of honey. And this wildflower honey is so good. I'm going to pour this a good amount, just every how much you want. It's pretty much a drizzle. The cake is hot, so this honey is going to heat up and seep right down in there. And that's about as much as I need. So I use probably about a quarter, probably maybe a quarter cup or so. And looks so good. Now I'm going to put the icing on. And just going to dollop it on. Then I want to spread it. Now you have to let this cake cool a little spell because it is very hot. But I like warm cakes, believe it or not. My husband likes chilled cakes. I mean, I love cakes in general, but I really love a warm cake. And or a room temperature cake. This cake is one of them. It's actually good either way. You can chill it if you want, but it's really good warm. You can always cut a piece and heat it up in the microwave for a little bit before you eat it too. So just spread this out. You see that honey just blending right in, which is good. And spread this on. You could do a cream cheese frosting on this or icing if you wanted. This is just more like just a regular glaze. But with that buttermilk on there, it does have a little bit of a tang, which is good. It's so good. Alrighty. Okay. And always go to the edges, that way your icing will seep down into the sides and to the corners. And that is it. So, yeah. I'm going to let it cool probably for about 10 minutes. And we're going to cut into this and have a bite. So, all right, guys. So, stay tuned for the taste testing. Okay, this is my little taste tester. And take a bite. Looky there. It's still warm. And I want to get me what do you think about the buttermilk glaze?
I like the glaze.
Yeah. If you see on the bottom, there's in the middle, there's that cinnamon swirl that's in the middle. Coffee cake vibes?
Kinda, yeah.
You can put some pecans in the middle. When you put the cinnamon in there, if you want to do toasted pecans, will be good. But it's got the sour cream. Like I said, this is like a coffee cake vibe, but you got that good glaze.
It's super dense.
Very dense. Tastes like a honey bun?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I see where it gets the name.
The honey bun? Yeah. So that swirl on there, I think the glaze. I love the glaze. So
the glaze is good.
In the middle. Some people call this a cinnamon roll cake too.
It's good.
It's really good.
It is, yeah.
Super good. You good with a cup of coffee.
Milk.
Milk, for sure, milk.
I like milk with cake.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Mine's a little different because I actually put real honey on mine because it's a honey bun cake. But I think that real honey makes a difference. It seeps down in there. But
it's so, like, decadent.
Yeah. It's very rich.
This is the word. It's really rich.
Doesn't take much. Be good for breakfast, but it's also good just for any time.
Sweet.
So it's very sweet. So,
For breakfast.
but yeah.
It's good though.
Yeah. It is very good. So there you go, guys. It's my honey bun cake. I will be sharing the recipe in the comments, and I'll be sharing the recipe a little later. After I upload the video, I'll be sharing the recipe under the photo section at the top of my page in the albums titled recipes. I'll be sharing the recipe, the picture with the recipe on it. So, but I hope y'all make it. It's very easy, super simple, which we all like super simple. Perfect cake if you don't like to make from scratch cakes or if you don't have time. It's pretty quick and it's easy because you can put it all in the pan, a 9x13.
And it tastes like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, Kenzie said it tastes like you know what you're doing. Well, it's very good for beginner bakers too. So, but you still got that good homemade glaze, so it's still, and I don't think nobody's going to really think that it's a cake mix because I think the sour cream makes the difference. She said it was dense. It's the sour cream in it, for sure. So, all right, guys. There you go. It is an easy honey bun cake. I hope you make it. If you do, just tag me at Mountain Cooking with Missy and tag me anytime y'all make anything. And I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing the video as always. You guys are awesome. So see you guys later. Thank y'all for watching Mountain Cooking with Missy, where it's nothing fancy.
Just good.
Just good eating. Bye, guys.